So welcome to Gather Veterans. We are really excited today for the Service Provider Spotlight. We are going to be talking with Jason about the Farmer Veteran Coalition. So I did some research. I'd never heard of you guys. Of course, when I talked to you, I looked on the website, pulled all sorts of good information, and I immediately was like, this is something we need to get out to folks. So welcome, Jason. It's pretty early this morning, 8 a.m. on a Thursday. Whew, you got me up really early. Especially in a quarantine, man.
I've already got chores done and I've thrown hay and
well, yeah, you're a farmer, right? I'm not a natural farmer. So I'm like, I got up and did my meditation and had my tea. That's about the extent of what I did. But welcome to Gather Veterans. We're so excited to have you. And I'm just going to kind of open the floor up to you. If you want to tell us a little bit about your story, how you got into farming, about the coalition, I'll kind of let you take the reins.
Great, thanks. So I was very blessed to grow up on a farm and had that great experience as a kid, 4-H, and just was exposed to agriculture from day one. It was a multi-generational dairy farm where my family milked 80 registered Holsteins. So it was a small farm, but family farm nonetheless. That farm went through some changes and iterations over the years. We transitioned into pigs, and all the while my dad was running a feed mill that we owned for feeding our own animals. And the story goes, a neighbor came down and asked if he could make chicken feed one day, and he did, and the rest is history. So we still own and operate Scramlin Feeds today. But I didn't have a whole lot of direction through high school or plans, so I ended up joining the Marine Corps, where I spent 8 years on active duty. And somewhere along the way, I realized I wanted to get back into agriculture. I wanted to get back to my family, back to my roots. And so when I got out, I went to Michigan State, where I studied animal science and ag business, and moved home to work on the family farm. Okay. And I did that for a handful of years prior to taking an off-the-farm job and buying my own farm. So, yeah. So today, my wife and I own just a little over 20 acres. We rent another 20 acres. We have a flock of 50 sheep, and we produce hay. We do a pretty robust garden. We have egg-laying chickens, and yeah, we have a couple horses for fun. And so we retail that, a lot of that stuff through our farm, Split Rail Farm. And I found out about the Farmer Veteran Coalition while I was in college. Okay. And it's a national organization that their mission is pretty simple. It is mobilizing veterans to feed America. And it's a pretty great organization from and yeah, and so they help veterans that want to connect to agriculture through a couple of different ways. They provide some mentorship opportunity. They provide educational type resources, and they also have monetary and financial resources available throughout the year. Yeah, it really is a great organization if you're a veteran and you have any interest in agriculture. I talked to, so let me back up. Yeah. So there's the national organization, but about 4 years ago, there was this push for state chapters to start forming. And so Michigan was one of the first, and there's only like 10 or 12 chapters in the nation.
A lot of them are the Midwest. I saw like Illinois, Michigan, Ohio. I was like, oh, okay. So it must be a fairly new concept in some of the states.
Yeah, it's a great way for us to partner with the national, but have some boots on the ground here in the state of Michigan. And so we operate relatively independent. We are partner organizations, but we host our own events. We do our own trainings or things that we can do right here in Michigan to support veterans who have interest in agriculture.
Nice. So give me a little bit of an idea on like an event that the farmer, I'm an event person. I'm like, what kind of events would you have through the coalition?
Yeah, for sure. So last year we partnered with MEEP, which is the Michigan Agriculture uh,
It's okay.
MAEAP, geez, Michigan Ag um, Environmental Assurance Program.
Environmental, something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we partnered with MEEP, and through that event, we invited veterans out and just talked to them about ways that they can environmentally assure their farm and go through this certification program. You get a really cool banner and sign, and it's just a good way to operate a farm. And so, we had vets come out for that.
Nice.
We also do our annual meeting. And so that's part of our bylaws, post an annual meeting. And we kind of do that like a business symposium where we'll have other industry experts come in and talk about running a farm business and some best practices there.
Very cool. So it's not just for folks maybe who grew up in the agriculture. Some people might say, well, of course, Jason, of course you went into agriculture, right? That's what you grew up in. Like that's what your family history is and things like that. So it's not just for those maybe who have gone or lived it or grown up in it. It might be just starting from fresh and you just have some kind of interest in agriculture. Yes?
Absolutely.
Okay.
When you dig into the history of the national organization, Michael O'Gorman, the founder, he really cites some research that was done through Cornell University. And Cornell did this really awesome study about veterans with PTSD and the effects that agriculture exposure has on them. And there's just this really powerful thing that happens when a veteran has the opportunity to grow things and raise things and invest their time and labor into something that brings life. And it's really powerful.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, you had said the other day when we talked just that there, because typically, this isn't saying anything against those who are not veterans. I'm not a veteran and I still consider myself a hard worker, but I'm married to one. I'm married to a Marine, so I get it. Just that whole concept of, you give them a task and they are hard workers and they want, a purpose and something and just tell us what we need to do and we'll do it. So I think that was a very interesting insight into the veteran world of we set our minds on something, we need the information, we're going to go full force. And do you see that a lot of veterans who go into agriculture are successful in it? Like what seems to be kind of the struggles and the obstacles maybe that folks might run into?
Yeah, so there's kind of three classifications if I had to kind of put people in categories for what I see coming into agriculture, right? Mm-hmm. You've got folks that are like me that have that background and maybe even have a larger farming operation they're returning to. You've got folks that are startup farm owners that want to do something, that are looking for career opportunities, that want a full-time income stream. And then you've got your hobbyists that, have an affinity for it. They appreciate what it is, and they want to do something, but it's definitely a side gig and sure, maybe not bringing in the income that they want it to, and that's fine too. With any of those categories, the number one barrier for agriculture is capital investment.
Sure.
It's an expensive hobby. Land is expensive. Tractors are expensive, and so I think at times I've seen where a lot of people come at something farm related with really good intentions, but they don't recognize the business side of it that's behind it.
Sure.
And you've got to have your ducks in a row if you want to keep doing something long term.
Nice.
But that's where the Farmer Veteran Coalition comes in. I mean, there's an annual fellowship fund where they award up to $5,000 for someone, and I'm a recipient of that, and it was huge. It helped our farming operation, complete a bunch of different big capital improvements that we were looking to do.
Nice.
And, yeah, it's
nice. So is there? I'm assuming, this is an assumption on my part, that there are kind of capital investment opportunities or investors out there, or kind of, you said, like the fellowship fund, those types of resources out there for veterans who want to get into farming and agriculture and that. So I'm just assuming there's a lot out there to sort of navigate. Do you guys help sort of navigate that some?
We do. So the board of directors serves as a mentor program. So anytime there's a farmer veteran in Michigan that has interest, they're always welcome to reach out to any board member. We've got a really great Facebook page, MI for Michigan, Farm Vet Co. And
that's awesome.
The other good resource in your community at the county level would be your FSA and USDA office. There's a lot of grants available. There's a lot of very low interest loans for farmer veterans, and veteran status in the last like 5 years has gotten so much attention and excitement from USDA.
Sure.
And so there's just a lot of interest to help veterans transition into ag.
Okay. So if you were to kind of give some advice for someone maybe who's just starting, who there's some interest, they're looking at it, would it be starting at the USDA office? Would it be, like you said, reaching out to your coalition group? How does that work? Are you guys like a paid membership group? I kind of explain that a little bit.
So membership in the Farmer Veteran Coalition is free. You register online through the national website, and then you are just automatically a member of the state level chapter. And so I would, if any vet is interested in getting involved or being active, I would reach out to the board somehow.
Okay.
What's
the easiest way to do that? Send a quick email, phone call, probably an email.
Any of the above. Email, our social media. We monitor our Facebook page pretty regular.
Okay.
But yeah, we're all pretty accessible.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, good to know, because it's nice to know that when you look at organizations or coalitions like that, like, you guys are real people living in Michigan. I mean, you own a farm. Jason exists. Like, it's nice to know you're not going to just go in some random email queue where who knows who's going to contact you, and you might have to wait forever. Because I know I'm not the most patient person, and I know when you have an idea, it's good to get answers relatively quickly. So that's good to know. I will throw up your guys' Facebook page too as well. We'll be spotlighting you guys in the veterans, Gather Veterans Facebook page too. But okay, so what kind of, do you guys have a lot of members of the coalition? Like, how's it looking for Michigan?
Yeah.
You guys are always looking for more, I'm sure, but.
Well, so we're looking for more, but we're always looking for people who want to be engaged and involved. And so we've got like almost 600 members here in the state of Michigan. So quite a big number. We mentioned that fellowship fund that they gave out, the national gives out every year, that up to $5,000. So to give an example, a few years ago, there was 200 awarded nationally, these fellowship funds.
Nice.
I think 40 of them were in Michigan.
Nice.
So we're a really active community. And Michigan is, from an agricultural standpoint, we're a rock star. We're the number 2 most diverse agricultural state in the nation, only second to California because we can't grow fruit trees, but we have such agricultural diversity and so much opportunity.
Awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's pretty cool that then you can kind of pick. 'Cause I think, like, for those of us, I mean, I grew up in rural Illinois, so I'm used to a lot of wheat, a lot of corn. Like, that's about it, and some soybeans in there, type thing. A lot of corn. But I was exposed to the Farm Bureau, which we talked about the other day when we spoke. So you have a lot of knowledge, Jason. Let me just tell you that. Knowing, working with the Farm Bureau, but it's like this thing, like, you kind of think there's one region where you can only grow corn or you can only do this. But it's really cool to know, when I asked you the other day, like, what are the demographics of Michigan, like, to just know there's so many different opportunities. You don't have to do just one crop or one type of livestock or one whatever it might be. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
In Michigan.
We're really blessed here in Michigan. And the other thing that's pretty cool for being a Midwestern state is we have a lot of foodies. And that's a huge opportunity too. So, you've got people that value uniquely produced or unique food items. So the opportunities are endless.
What's the most unique agricultural thing that anyone has done that you've ever seen, like in the state of Michigan?
So I have learned about a farmer veteran last year who has a garlic farm.
Oh, yeah.
With garlic.
Nice.
And they're doing some really cool things with that, like some hand shucked stuff and, really targeting the restaurants. I'm always fascinated by folks that grow mushrooms, and there's tons of opportunity in table mushroom growing.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like both. Sign me up for both. Yeah. I like garlic and mushrooms, so I'm good. I can keep those veterans in business for sure.
Poultry, there's a lot of folks that'll raise broilers or meat birds in service of community, or even just target one or two restaurants. I mean, if you can get your foot in the door with one or two restaurants and be their sole supplier for a product, I mean, that could be a pretty consistent revenue stream.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a very good point. For sure. Yeah, the networking which is nice because then you can kind of learn those skills as you get more confident, especially if you're just starting out. Okay, I have this product to offer. What does that look like? I love when people network. I'm a networker, so I totally appreciate that. Awesome. Well, if someone wants to learn more about you guys, I put both your website as well as your particular Facebook page. So definitely go in and like that. Is there anything that you would like to share about the Farmer Veteran Coalition that we didn't cover? Or like, I think I asked you the other day, like, what were your top 3 pieces of advice that someone could walk away with? I like the number 3. Like, what if we could end today with someone knowing something about you've shared so much information, but what would it be? What would it be that we haven't covered?
Yeah. So I guess the first piece of advice is, like you said, network, reach out. Don't be afraid to ask. As veterans, we can clam up at times, or just think that we got to figure it out and do it on our own. Sure. But the agricultural community, the farming community, is so much about mentor-mentee. And whether it's a veteran or not, if you know a farmer, they would be, I guarantee they would be willing to help you and take time to answer questions you have about what they do or what you could do to either get involved or find business opportunities.
I like it.
So network, have a plan. If you want to get into farming of any size, scale, have a plan. Think about it. Write it down. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? What does success look like to you? Because success looks different to everyone, and that's okay.
Amen, Jason. Amen. Yeah, I preach what I preach all the
time.
So be willing to pivot, but have somewhat of a plan when you go into it.
Yes, have a plan, and so I guess the third thing is, if you're interested in farming and you're a vet, we'd love to see you get involved. We've got a great team on our board of directors. We're constantly looking for new ways to connect and reach out in the community. And it takes folks like people watching this video that want to grab the banner and run with it. And we would love to support that effort. And so we've done webinars. We've done things on beekeeping. We've done things on livestock production. We've done bus tours. There's lots of opportunity to do events as long as people are willing to show up and find value in that event.
Sure. Yeah. And another point on that isn't just the veterans themselves, but any organizations. Like, I'm already in my head, I'm like, oh, here in Traverse City, I know some that would even host you guys to bring kind of be a gathering point where you guys can start, pun intended, where you guys can start kind of sharing that information and getting your information out. So even if you're an organization or a location or something in a community somewhere in the state of Michigan, we're like, yeah, it'd be great to host a group of veterans out here to learn about all these different, and you said beekeeping. My husband's currently looking into the idea of getting bees. We're getting chickens. This is a whole new world to me, Jason. I don't know if it's just from talking to you this week, it opened up this whole new world of agriculture at our house. I'm not sure what's going on. He might be reaching out to you. He's a veteran.
That's so right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
He can take at this point. This is a new venture for us. But yeah, same thing. If you want to host them or gather your veterans in your local community just to share wealth of information and education, definitely reach out to them and let them know. So I'm so excited to share your guys' information. I appreciate you, Jason, what you guys are doing and sharing with our veterans. And if we can be of help on the Gather Veterans End at any time, let us know. We will push everything out for you guys, get it out there. If you are a veteran or you your loved one is, or you know of one that has ever talked about anything to do with farming and agriculture, definitely need to check out the Farmer Veteran Coalition for sure. For sure. But thank you. All right. Well, thanks for spending your morning with me. See, it wasn't too bad, right?
No, not too bad at all. Thank you.
Being flexible yesterday. Everyone online now. It's messing all of us who work online. You guys are killing our vibe here. But good to see you this morning. And again, let us know if we can be of any help. But check out the Farmer Veteran Coalition and share with everyone you know. So thank you, Jason. All right. Take care. Thanks.
Thank you. Take care.